the thing that struck me about Joe Biden in his speech last night, and again, with the caveat that a State of the Union address is performative. And he did not address issues that I think are really crucial to the country, like the imminent loss of anywhere from 5 to 15 million people's health insurance when the Medicaid that people have been getting because of the COVID emergency goes away, on top of everything else. But with that said, with that caveat out of the way, assessing the speech, I've never seen a speech where really anything matters that much, except for like in that moment. Maybe that moment when Joe Wilson said liar to Barack Obama, that became a problem for the Republicans down the road. This moment last night, though, is a huge opportunity for Democrats. And whether Biden meant to do this or not, it is a great thing for American people because both parties are now locked in accepting the third rail of Social Security and Medicare. And this is a big deal. If you go back to the 1936 platform of the Republican Party, they are attacking Social Security. If you go back to almost any platform of the Republican Party, they are attacking Social Security. Last platform, they didn't because their whole platform was, we like Donald Trump. If you look at the plan, you can pop this up. The plan by Rick Scott, who was the chairman of the Senate elect committee. What is it? The Senate campaign committee. Yep. In here, you will see, this is his plan.
All federal legislation.
All federal legislation sunsets in 5 years. If a law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it again. He's talking about Social Security. And he's talking about Medicare. Because the easiest thing for a lawmaker to do when they've got to cut something that is so incredibly popular is to take no vote and let it sunset on its own. Yeah. Joe Biden uses that term sunset. This is where he got it from.
Right, you should easily be able to switch that logic on the head. Like if it's so important to get rid of it, you should be able to vote on that.
Exactly.
This is that platform.
But understand, again, there are two major functions of our government. One is, at least in terms of if you look at dollars, one is social insurance in the form of Social Security and Medicare, and the other is the military. And we already revote every year on the defense authorization bill. So they already do that. So when he's talking about legislation that sunsets every 5 years, what he's talking about is Social Security and Medicare, arguably Medicaid as well. Pop up the 1936 thing. We don't need it. I mean, people know this, but here it is. This is 1936. We propose a system of old age based upon the following principle: pay as you go, which requires each generation to support of age and determination. Every American, I mean, basically on and on. They're attacking Social Security. That's it. Here is Joe Biden last night. And the one thing I would say that it was indicative of this speech was it was more casual than any State of the Union address I've ever seen. And it was almost like being in Parliament.
Prime Minister's question.
Before the big gesture here, you'll see that like when he mentions the sunsetting, there's like the heckling. It's why.
And they're like, where did that possibly come from? Not from the guy who's in charge of making sure all our senators get reelected, is it?
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond, folks. So, folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be funded. All right.
See that? Now pause it right there. You got half the Republican Party standing up. Social Security, Medicare off the table right now. Now, we know that Donald Trump had already told them, don't do it. But we just witnessing right now Joe Biden getting all the credit for essentially getting the Republican Party to agree. We're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare. I don't even know if there aren't people in the Democratic Party who are pissed about that. I would imagine there are some.
Like even like a Cuellar maybe or somebody like that potentially.
Manchin.
Yeah, Manchin,
I mean, look,
yeah.
there's more. But now, like, you remember that Manchin floated that, let's have a committee to look at the Social Security.
Simpson Bowles 2.0.
Forget it. Forget it. Just let it run a little
Mike
bit
Lee
more.
is sweating like Colin Farrell in phone booth.
Yeah.
Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be funded. All right. Good. We got unanimity.
McCarthy even claps his hands there. There it is, folks. I mean, honestly, this is here. Look, Republicans are liars. Democrats can lie too. They're all politicians. But we just have like a couple of like 30 seconds of tape where the entire there seems to be unanimity. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. And a good politician in the future can remind people of that fateful day, February 7th. I remember where I was, 9:30 in the evening, when both parties, in a sign of American unity, like we should return to, said forcefully, we will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. I will be faithful to that unity. In fact, I think we today should agree to increase and expand Social Security. And if Medicare is good enough for our seniors at age 65, it's good enough for our people at age 50. In fact, 45. Hell, it'll be cheaper just to do it for everybody.
Everybody.
I mean, honestly, in the next State of the Union, Joe Biden has an opportunity to say, last year I was up here, man, and we all agreed. No cuts to Social Security. Can we all agree tonight? We're going to expand Social Security, and we're going to drop the Medicare retirement age to 55. Everybody, who's here with me? And just watch half of the audience stand up, and you go into your election, and these people don't want to help with Social Security and Medicare. There's a real opportunity there. Do I think he'll take that? No. But do I think other politicians in the future are going to keep reminding the American public and the news media? We're all agreed. We don't need a commission on how do we cut Social Security or Medicare. We need a commission on how do we expand Social Security and Medicare.
Protected for our grandkids.
I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Particularly for a State of the Union address, right? Like, I mean, has anybody seen anything like that? I've never seen anything like that before. This is a position that the Republican Party has had for 80 years. Almost 90 years, actually. And they just basically said, we're not cutting it. It's just a question of, do we believe them? Well, I don't know. I think that third rail, and you know what you do when they concede the third rail, you start to expand the third rail. You build a fourth.